Hi everyone, thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm Ali Reiner, and I'm here today to talk about a subject that is really close to my heart: love. Love is an inside job. What does that mean? That means I'm going to be talking to you about how you can create that love, that happiness, that perfect relationship all by yourself. Everything comes within. We don't need validation from others. We don't need to look outside ourselves. We can fill the hole that we have here all by ourselves. Now, just a quick question before I start. Can you define your ideal relationship? Can you put words on it? If I were to ask for 4 words that would describe your ideal relationship, what would they be? If you've got a piece of paper and a pen, great, write them down. My next question would be, how do you define those words in terms of your relationship? So what does, if I'll give you an example, for me it's something that's very important. I mean, my 4 big words are fun, happy, loving, and healthy and safe. Healthy, why? For me, healthy means a place that I can go, that I can be absolutely, unashamedly me. I can pour out what is going on in my heart, the hurts that I have, the upsets that I have, without having them diminished and without having somebody trying to resolve them for me. A place that I can just be me without looking for self-pity. A place that I know it's safe to have disagreements, because let's be honest, we're not talking about fairy tales here. We're not trying to create fairy tales, but someplace that I can go, and if we disagree, I can decide, do I want to be right or do I want to be happy? And I have a partner who is of the same mind. Is this worth keeping going and keeping going and keeping going over? Now, for me, it's very important because it was something that I didn't take into account when I got married. So for me, that's a big word: healthy relationship. You'll have your own, and they are the words that you use to create that ideal in your mind when you think of what that beautiful relationship is going to look like. You'll use those words. Only you can describe it. Only you can create it, because it's your ideal, not mine, not anyone else here. But it's a great exercise to get you focused. It's also a great exercise going forward, because one of the big problems that we suffer, all of us, is communication. When a relationship's going wrong, the thing that I hear time and time again is it's all about communication. We miscommunicate, we shout, we argue, we sulk, we whatever. The idea of having yet another conversation about a particular topic fills you with dread. Your stomach's churning. You're waiting for the inevitable, the next fight to come out of it. You already know what's going to happen before you even start, but we keep going and we keep going and we keep going. So, communication, what can we do with communication? Same thing. You've now got your list of buzzwords, your list of words that mean something to you. You've got a description of what they mean. Let's take it a step further. What are you telling yourself in a relationship, in your marriage, in your partnership, when things aren't going right? What words are you using? Get them out there. So, you don't love me enough. You treat me like a servant. You think, you have no respect for me. You never listen to me. You never take me into account. Okay, again, let's take these words. You never love me. What does love mean for you? What does respect mean for you? You never take me into account. If he or she was taking you into account, what would they be doing? Get clear on it, so that the next time you go into a discussion, instead of saying you don't love me, you can use something different. You can say, I feel unloved because whatever it is that you define love by isn't happening. It doesn't take away blame completely, but it takes you a step away from blame. You're not pointing the finger. And incidentally, try pointing the finger. 1 finger out, 3 fingers back. That's a great one. And that's where we're going next. So when we look at our relationship, whether it's the one that you're in currently that's not going particularly well, or whether you're looking to learn from your past mistakes, which is always a great thing, get clear on the words that you use in terms of how you feel in that relationship and what it would take to feel differently. So I am not feeling loved. If I were feeling loved, it would be like X, Y, and Z. I can't tell you what that's going to feel like because it's different for you to me. If I'm feeling loved, it can be as simple as my husband coming into the bedroom with a cup of coffee for me in the morning. He's never done it, but yeah, for me that would be the height of being loved. It's going to be different for you. But when you've got it down, then you know what you're working towards. So you know what your ideal relationship looks like. You know what happens when you feel the way you want to feel, because you've taken these words, you've looked at them, you've put them on paper, and you've started using them in everyday life. So you're not talking about not feeling loved. You're saying whatever the description would be, you're using the description. Let's take it a step further forward. For me, I have discovered, and I share it with my clients, and therefore I want to share with you today, what I know to be true. What I know to be true is that in order to have that perfect, ideal relationship that we've created here, right at the beginning, we need, first of all, to create that relationship with ourselves. It's all about self-love. It's all about being able to validate yourself. You don't need anyone else to do it. You don't need anyone else. It's nice when it happens. And let me tell you, when you can do it for yourself, it happens so much more frequently, but you need to be able to do it for yourself. And if I can just draw you a picture here, a mental picture, because I wouldn't even dare. So for me, if I picture myself, I see me as I am at the moment, and I picture this hole in the middle. And that hole gets bigger or smaller, depending on how well I'm treating myself. I didn't always know that that was the case. And I didn't realise, and I think a lot of us don't realise. So think about your body. Think about you standing up straight, and think about your hole. Now, what normally happens is we look outside to fill that hole. We look for love from somebody else. We look for validation from someone else. We look for shopping. We look for, it's actually where addiction comes from as well. We are addicted to filling that hole from something out there. But let's keep it to relationships at the moment. You will try to fill that hole with something that your partner cannot give you. His respect, his love, his value, whatever words you've been using, whatever words are going around in your head now, you've been trying to get that from him and fill yourself up. So let's stop it. Let's look at how you're treating yourself. So you say you don't feel loved. How much love are you showing yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Where would you say you love yourself? 1, 10. 1 being not very much, 10 being, I spend all day, every day loving myself. I am about self-love. What can we do to take it a step closer? What can you do to increase that level of self-love? Because let me tell you something, what's happening in your relationship or what's happened in your past relationships is directly relational to how much love you're showing yourself, how much respect you're showing yourself, how much worth you're putting on you. So do you understand where I'm getting at, or where I'm coming from? The more we fill our own hole up with what we can give ourselves, the less we need it from other people. The taller we stand, the further back our shoulders go, the higher up our chin gets, and the more attractive we become. We're not being needy. We are being genuine. So how do we create self-love, self-respect, self? Simply by taking a step back. Simply by Forgetting everything that you think you should be, everything you are in your relationship. Take off the mask, the one you use at home, the one you use at work, the one you use with your parents, all those masks, and go back to basics. Who am I? I've got some exercises. If you want to talk to me later, I can show you how to go through this, how to get to this. But, you know, who am I? What are my core values? What are my core beliefs? How do I want to live my life? You've got some good, strong words about what your ideal relationship looks like. You've got some good, strong words about what it is that doesn't work. Use these. They're very probably your core. You know, they're at the core of you. And see how closely you're living to that, how closely you're showing up to that in your relationship. And if it's not, then you need to start doing some work. You need to start putting you first. Now, it's difficult. We're not brought up to put ourselves first. We're told it's selfish. So let's start small. One little thing that you can do each day for you to get you thinking about self-love. It can be as simple as, I'm having a cup of coffee now. And instead of, I'm having a cup of coffee. This cup of coffee is for me because I love me, because I'm worth it. And then it can be, you can build up, you can build up, you can build up. The idea that we're getting at is getting to a point that you know yourself so well that you know how this hole in the center is doing. Is it completely full of everything it needs and therefore you're ready to go? Or do you need to do a little bit of work? Do you need to look inside of it, feed it a little bit? And what does it need to be fed with? What can you feed it with? And does that make sense? I hope so. Once we know how to fill this gaping hole that we all have, it's not because we're miserable in our relationships by any stretch of the imagination. We all have it to a greater or lesser degree, and during the course of a day we have it to a greater or lesser degree, and it all depends on how we're treating ourselves. So you understand now what your core values are. Pretty much they came out at the beginning of this conversation. You understand where you want to be in your relationship, or what your ideal relationship looks like. You know that it's not a healthy place to be scared to talk your truth, to show the real you. You understand now what it takes, i.e. emotional independence. Now you're ready, as the whole person, to go into your relationship, or to go look and create your relationship. And that's where we look at emotional interdependence. What we've created was our own sense of self, our own sense of self-love, emotional independence, where we are responsible for filling our own needs, our own lacks. We don't need to be grabbing it from our husband, from our partners, from our wives, from anything else. We have the tools to create it for ourselves. We know that we're enough. We know that we are perfect as we are. And we know how to make ourselves feel better when we're not feeling so good. Now you're in a financial state, that would be great. Now you're in a state that you can go and create that ideal relationship. Whether you're already in it or whether you're looking for it, doesn't really matter. You have the tools. You don't need somebody else. And you will see when you're reacting differently because you're looking after you. You're putting yourself at the center of your world. You're setting the boundaries for other people to know how to treat you. When you take that into a relationship, it's a completely different ball game. How do I know this? I know this because I went through the very same thing. I was the woman with the suitcase in one hand, the 2 kids in the other, thinking, I'm leaving this bloody thing. I hate this man. How did I ever make such a mistake? I couldn't understand how I'd made such a mistake because I spent a lot of time looking for him and he filled an awful lot of boxes. Anyway, I got to that point. I spent my whole time pointing the finger of blame. He got a bit sick and tired of it. He was pointing the same finger back at me. Our only communication at one point were these two fingers. And if you look, going back to it, one finger out, three fingers back. I had to do something for me. And that's where I began my journey, and that's how I know this works. It works because when I worked through it on myself, when I built a relationship with me, when I built my self-confidence, my self-worth, my self-love, when I put myself at the center of my world, everything changed. Not just in my relationship, I have to say, not just my romantic relationship, it changed dramatically. We're still together. I didn't expect that. I didn't think I would make it to 10 years, and we're now at 16 years of marriage. But it changed everything in the rest of my life. People were suddenly taking note of me. People were suddenly attracted to me because I was giving out something different. I wasn't looking for something. I wasn't looking for validation. I wasn't looking for, and I didn't ever think I was looking for pity or anything. I thought I was kind of, big and strong, but I wasn't, because I was still hoping like a little girl. I was still very dependent on other people's opinion of me. And that's not, that was never going to take me to emotional independence, and therefore never going to be great in any relationship, whether it was a work relationship or a romantic relationship or a familial relationship. Never was I going to be able to shine when I was still emotionally dependent on other people's opinions. You loved me? Great. You criticised me? I wanted to die. Emotional independence means for you, that we don't care. What other people think about us is none of our business. It doesn't need to be anymore. What I think about me, what you think about you, that's your business. And let's make sure that we have the strongest, highest opinion of ourselves possible. Then we can take ourselves and we can create that relationship of our dreams. And that's all I've got for you today. I loved sharing with you. I am a coach, as I said. I offer one-on-one coaching programs, and I'm more than happy to talk to you at the end. Outside again, I've got a special offer today on my 6-week coaching program, and I'm happy to talk you through how it works, how much it costs, and what you will get out of it. Now, I promise you, when you put yourself at the centre of your universe and you build that relationship with you that you want so desperately from somebody else, you fill your own hole up. Life is amazing. So thank you for letting me speak. Thank you for letting me be here today. Thank you, Des.